doing things that don't scale sometimes, which sounds counterintuitive. But if you think about it, within sales, at the end of the day, this is really what any sales rep is doing on a one-to-one basis when they're working with a client, when they're trying to get a deal over the line. You're getting to know that person on a human level, and you're really starting to connect with them. And at the end of the day, it's that foundation of trust that sets a business relationship off on the right foot. So the question, I think, whether you're an FCR, an AE, a CSM, is how do you do things on that human to human level that maybe don't scale? Maybe it's not something that you're going to go and send 100 out of at one time, whether it's an email or a gift card or a piece of swag, but it's something that's going to resonate at that personal level, specifically with that person. And I think when you spend the time, whether it's 1, 5, 10 minutes, to do that sort of unscalable human interaction, you're going to see the returns on time are far higher than if you spend that same amount of time to send 100 things that are maybe very loosely personalized. And the last thing I'll say is we've all come around to realizing that, hi, blank, noticed you're the blank at blank, really thought X, Y, and Z. That's not personalized anymore. That's templated. And everyone sees through that right away. So I think you have to do things that don't scale. I think you have to break people out of their pattern of expecting fake personalization and really go that extra mile to sort of have people say, wow, and kind of be taken aback by that level of authenticity.
Got it. Love that. Yeah, I think that's so valuable too, right? It's, even just combining it with, so like I would like actually to counter that and ask another kind of question with it. Combining it with, so like, yes, you'll do the thing that can scale in some way, shape, or form. And then, you have stuff that can't scale. Do you think that, working them in tandem is kind of the right approach, where it's like, you have things that can scale, and then once you kind of get, that initial touch point or initial kind of push, then you can kind of start looking more at things that are more personalized, like direct mail, or things that might not scale as well. Is that something that you think would works well, or how what's your approach there?
Well, I mean, you have to balance it, and I think we're probably getting into a more esoteric, macroeconomic conversation about what the value of a human is in the sales process over the next decade or so. And not to get too into it, but I think everyone can grasp the reality that there's some percent of what we all do that is and will continue to be automated. And so the question for a sales rep becomes, how do I lean into that? How do I leverage all the technology available? How do I use outreach to make sure that things that can happen at scale are happening at scale? But how do I then really use the bulk of my time and energy to do things that a computer will not be able to do, right? And use that level of compassion and emotion and human intuition, where you can look at something and rather than say, Mikey Harrison, partnership sales hacker, I'm like, all right, Mikey, Canada, snowstorm. They're getting a snowstorm. There's something there. What can I use with that, with my messaging, right? And you start to break it well beyond what your templated messaging is going to be, or even a computer starting to do sort of the right wording, right time stuff. What's that? Try to think sort of about how you leverage the technology, how you leverage automation for that volume or sort of air cover, as I think of it. And then where do you inject yourself where the computer just simply cannot? Because that'll be your edge.